Hey, Shredder.
What up, Shredder? One of the reasons snowboarding is so much cooler than skiing, yeah, I said it. One of the reasons it's so much cooler than skiing is you can ride both ways and press both ways, giving you so much room for creativity. Whether it's butters, blunts, or presses, there is almost an unlimited number of ways you can use your board to surf the mountain. Today we're going to talk about one way to spice up your jib game. That means bringing boxes and rails to the next level. We're talking about the Nosepress and the Tailpress. If you want to make sure you never miss a video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit notifications right now. That's going to make sure you always get notified of new videos. I think I can tail press a longer rail than any other trick. It's kind of my go-to for handrails and other jibs where I'm not sure what's going to happen. Tail presses are cool because you're set up to absorb anything in front of you on your tail. So if you fall off early on some stairs or just onto the snow, you're ready to ride away. We're also going to cover the nose press, which is the inverse of a tail press and much harder with higher consequences, but still pretty easy, at least on a box. Now, before you jump into pressing, there are a couple prerequisites. I recommend you learn to ollie, 50-50 boxes and rails, and even butter, as these presses are pretty much just butters on a rail or a box. Let's start with the tail press first. The tail press is when you just lean back on your tail, your nose lifts off the rail, and you grind the whole rail on the backside of your board. To do this, find a flat surface and strap into your snowboard. You're going to shift your weight over the back of your snowboard. You can do this at the bottom of the mountain or in your living room. When you shift your hips over your tail, your nose should lift off the ground. If it doesn't, try bending your back leg and straightening your front leg. Stand up straight with your upper body and move your weight further over your tail, and your nose should start to lift up off the ground. You can even reach your backhand towards the tail of your board. Keep your shoulders in line with your snowboard when you do this, and keep your posture straight. No bending at the waist here. Your board only needs to lift a couple of inches. You don't have to do the craziest tail press in the world here or anything. A couple inches is fine. That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Practice this a couple times and you'll quickly learn how far you need to lean to get the board off the ground. Try bouncing up and down on the flex a bit to get a feel for where you can find support and stability. The first few times you might have to find that balance point, but eventually you'll figure out how to jump straight into the balance point. Now, you don't need a super flexible board to do tail presses, but it is easier to do on a softer board. If you don't know the flex rating of your board, you can go to your manufacturer's website to check. Typically, beginner and jib boards are soft, and all mountain and performance boards are stiffer. So if you have like an $800 or $900 snowboard, chances are it's pretty stiff. If your board costs $200 or $300, I would guess that it's going to be softer. Now, presses are easier on a reverse camber board, but you're fine to do them on a camber board too. Once you're comfortable doing this in the flat ground, go out to a mellow slope and practice the tail press while moving. Once you can do that, try it on a box that you can ride straight onto. I like to ollie up, level out in the air, and then slam my tail down after I leveled out. If you've got that dialed, it's time to try a frontside 5-0 on a rail from the side. Wait, a frontside 5-0? Yeah, that's what it's called on a skateboard, and I tend to call it that on a snowboard if it's on a down rail. A 5-0, as in half of a 50-50. I actually think this trick is easier on a down rail, as the angle of the rail does a lot of the work for you. Sometimes I'll do a small nollie up to the frontside 5-0, as it throws my weight straight back into the tail, just like it helps to rock forward on your front foot before you do an ollie. Now, lastly, there's the backside 5-0 with the rail behind you. Make sure that you master backside 50-50s before giving this a go. Once you get to the end of the rail, pop a small ollie off the end, level out in the air, and then put down your landing gear. You're going to want to make sure you do the tail press completely flat base, because if you go on an edge, you're going to slide out. Now, once you have the regular tail press down, you can do a frontside 180 or a backside 180 out by turning your shoulders. Keep your legs straight in line with the rail, and just turn those shoulders before you get to the end of the rail. Once you snap off the end, your legs are gonna follow your shoulders, and then you can land switch. You can also add a half cab into this trick with a backside 180 out. Just be sure to learn this trick as a butter first, but coming in on that half cab actually helps me lean further into my tail. Next, we have the nose press, which is significantly harder than a tail press. When I talked to my editor about the nose press, he said he wanted to press like Torstein Horgmo, so we gotta have a shot of that in here. The nose press is the same basic move as a tail press, but your momentum is moving forward over the nose of your board. Because of this, it's a lot harder to balance and a lot easier to eat. Some things that often go wrong is you fall over the nose. You have to practice finding the perfect balance point without leaning too far forward. You can do this by practicing the nose press out on the slope first. Another thing that goes wrong that I do often is you do sort of like a crooked grind or a nose slide instead of a nose press. To combat this, keep your shoulders aligned over your board to avoid turning sideways. Remember, it's all about moving your hips over the part of the board that you're pressing, and you just want to keep your shoulders in line with the board. When you make it to the end of the box or the rail on your nose press, pop a small nollie out of the nose press, so you're gonna level out in the air once again and then land flat. So the nose press is gonna be pretty easy to do on a flat box. Once you've got that dialed, it's pretty popular to do a backside nose press on a rail, and I actually find it a little easier than a frontside nose press, unlike the tail press where frontside is clearly easier. It's just kind of easier to get my hips over my nose when the rail is behind me. Remember, it's a backside nose press if the rail is behind you when you're riding up. Now, if you can do all that, nose press backside 180 out is an awesome trick. It's one of the coolest feeling tricks there is, and you have to give this a shot once you get your nose press dialed. And again, the way we do that is we lock into the nose press just like a normal nose press. Once we're locked in, we're gonna turn our shoulders backside, pop off the end of the rail, and our feet will follow our shoulders. That's the nose press and the tail press. Remember, practice at the bottom of the mountain or on your living room carpet. Move your hips over the nose or the tail, keep your shoulders square with your board, bend the leg you're pressing into, and straighten the leg that you want to lift up. Stay off your edges, keep it flat-based, and press it to the very end. Add some 180s in and out once you get comfortable, and have fun rubbing it in your skier friends' faces. Go out there, try some nose and tail presses, send us a video of your press. Until next time, peace out, Shredder.